Good evening and welcome back. A self-defense story here. Builder who stabbed 3 labourers to death as they attacked him in London in a row over money, a business row, will face no charges because he was acting in self-defense. Gurjit Singh, 30, was cornered as he walked home from Sikh Temple Gurdwara Temple in London. Baljit Singh, 34, Narinder Singh, 26, and Harinder Kumar, 22, died in Ilford attack. Jury cleared Mr. Singh of being in possession of offensive weapon in public place as well. Surname of Singh just means male, surname of Sherry means female, surnames mean different things in different countries, so no relation, just get that off straight off the bat. Particularly interesting, the man who stabbed 3 men to death as they attacked him has become the first person in the UK to face no charges over a self-defense triple killing. And ordinarily, you'd say, well, of course this is terrible that it happened to the gentleman, but he was able to defend himself. How was he able to defend himself? Because he was able to be armed as well as the attackers. But that wasn't legal, of course. So initially he was arrested because he was carrying an offensive weapon in a public place, which is illegal. He was cleared of that offence though. And why would that be? Because the law states that you are not allowed to carry along a knife that is longer than 3 inches. It has to be only sharp one side, it has to be folding, and it cannot be spring-loaded. That is the law. If you have it longer than that, you need to have a bloody good reason for it. For example, if you're a chef and you have it as a knife for your job, that kind of thing, then it's permissible. Otherwise, it is not. And the same goes for other offensive weapons, including bows, crossbows, and firearms, of course. Except if you are in an incident whereby you need to defend yourself and there is something around that you can grab and use to defend yourself. For example, if you're attacked in a kitchen store and there are knives to hand, you can then use a knife to defend yourself, and that's perfectly acceptable. But in this instance, that wasn't the case. So again, how come he was cleared of this charge? But it gets better. It gets even better. That yes, you might be thinking, but stop and search was supposed to stop this. So, well, yeah, except then stop and search stopped happening, didn't it? And Sadiq Khan likes to have himself leading the charge there and not having stop and search. And ironically, of course, that the only reason that the gentleman was able to defend himself was because he was not stopped and searched. But I guess that's just going to go straight over their heads there. He was attacked by 5 people, as it happened, including one who had a hammer. And the court heard that the injured man was injured with a crush injury to the top of his head, consistent with a hammer attack, a cut to the back of his head and the forehead, and a 5cm cut to the left side of his head. One of his hands was also wounded during the attack. So, the trio of dead men, all fellow Sikhs, and the 2 survivors had seen Mr. Singh at the Gurdwara in Ilford, a Sikh place of worship, just minutes before the attack. It followed a get-together by the previous night at a community event to celebrate the birth of a baby at a nearby venue called Crystal Banqueting, where there was a disagreement. On the night in question, the attackers had lain in wait for Mr. Singh to leave the Gurdwara. A confrontation ensued where Mr. Singh was chased and effectively boxed in. A vicious fight broke out involving weapons, which resulted in the deaths of Harinder Kumar, Narinder Singh, and Baljit Singh. So, the people, or the 2 survivors, were sentenced in August, and they were overstaying their visas and were living illegally in the UK. So the 29-year-old was jailed for 4 years in August for wounding with intent and was deported back to India after serving his sentence. In my mind, just get him out as soon as possible. They already shouldn't be here. They've then caused further crime and nearly killed somebody while overstaying their visa. Why are we then keeping them here for another 4 years at even greater expense when we could just say, no, back you go. Off you go. You're not welcome here. From a while ago, your visa's expired. His brother Harpreet, who was the appointed getaway driver on the night, had also overstayed his visa. The 27-year-old will also be deported after he completes his 12-month jail sentence for the same offence. A quarter of the time. I'm guessing he's the one that ratted then. The Met Police charged Gurjit Singh with possession of an offensive weapon in a public place, and he was remanded in custody for trial in February. No charges in relation to the death of the 3 victims were ever brought. Fair enough. Mr. Singh was found not guilty in August by a jury at Snaresbrook Crown Court. He'd been contacted for a comment that could not be reached. And why could that be? Well, Mr. Singh, who lived in Dagenham at the time of the attack, is an Indian national and an overstayer, as in illegal immigrant, who was served with a notice to leave in May 2015. It's unclear when he first entered the UK, you should really know this, but was issued with a student visa with an expiry date of November 2013. November 2013. 7 years ago. In 2015, he made a failed application to remain in the UK under the Human Rights Act. Cool. I don't think... There's definitely an irony in there, seeing as how you've made the news this time, under the Human Rights Act. But surely if it's 5 years later, after a failed application, bear in mind that the expiry date was November 2013, so 1.5 years after that, he then made another application, which failed. 5 years after that, he's only been brought up because of committing a crime, which would ordinarily be a crime, but he's been cleared of carrying a weapon then. And yeah, it's nice that the attackers are not attacking Britain, or British citizens, or the British idea. That's lovely, but it's also a thing that it shouldn't be in the country in the first place. And if they wish to say, hey, actually, you are allowed to carry a knife if you feel scared, because you can use it to defend yourself, then by all means, allow people to defend themselves, but put that across equally to everyone. Because the chances here, as I'm sure we can all kind of guess, is, yeah, but we can't be treating this brown person equally under the law, because, you know, they need to be taken care of by us white people with our guilt. So if we were to treat them equally, then that would be unfair. Whereas we have to provide a certain exemption for them. Well, I'd say, let us all be equal. Let us all defend ourselves. And we'll take it from there. But as always, let me know what you guys think down below. If you think, well, this is fine because it's a technicality. And if you wish to take the risk of carrying a weapon on the off chance you're attacked, because maybe you knew it from the previous night that something was going to happen and therefore you needed to defend yourself, then that should be allowed. And you just have to accept that if you're caught with a weapon before you're able to defend yourself, then you're going to prison. And that is the way that it should be. And so you're going to have to take that risk to decide if it's worth going to prison or worth being attacked undefended because the law is not going to be on your side. Fair enough. Or if you think, well, yeah, we should be able to defend ourselves and why stop at knives? And no, that should not extend to illegal immigrants. No, of course not. They don't have citizenship rights because they're not citizens. Either way, let me know down below. Always intrigued to hear what you guys have to say. And as always, until next time, have a good one.